Okay guys, all I'm going to show you in this video right now is how to use your calculator to answer a question when you're given a set of data and you're asked to predict what might happen in the future based on the data that's happened in the past. Now, each problem is a little bit different, but this is just for you to be able to come back to and remind yourself of how to use the calculator to do these problems, because it is a little complex. So go ahead and pull up, well, let's read the problem first. The table and graph show the number of people in the United States who were 65 years old or older each year from 1995 to 2002. So we have a T-chart or a table that talks about the numbers of years since 1995. So if our x value is 0 right here, that's going to represent there's 0 years since 1995. That's going to be year 1995. If our x value goes to 1, okay, that's going to be 1 year since 1995, so that would be 1996. All right, I think you might get the idea from here, but 2 years from 1995 would be 1997, okay? And then over here, this number, obviously there's not going to just be 33.8 people that are 65 years or older. It represents it in millions, just so the numbers are easier to work with. So sometimes with problems like this, they'll adjust the numbering so that when you're working with the numbers and coming up with an equation of best fit to predict, the numbers are easier to work with. All right, so we're going to take this table and we are going to duplicate it in our graphing calculator. So go ahead and pull up your graphing calculator. And what you need to go to first is Stat, the statistics button. Stat, it's next to your variable X button. And we'll pull up a menu, and the first thing you'll do in this menu is you're going to edit. So you want to kind of edit your table. Now if you have numbers in here to begin with, what you need to do is arrow up so that L1 or L2 are highlighted, press clear, and then enter. And all the data is erased from the previous problem. Do the same for the other column, press clear, and enter. And now you've got a blank slate. So I'm going to duplicate numbers of years since 1995 in my list 1. So it's going to look identical to what's on my paper. So I'm going to type in a 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, just look back over that list and make sure you haven't missed any numbers. I don't believe I have. If you miss a number or you mistype a number, it's going to mess up the whole entire problem. So it's very important that you take your time when entering and typing in these numbers. And we all know typos happen pretty frequently, so just double check your work. Now I'm going to enter in 33.8 with the 0 and L2 and continue with making that list. All right, double check again, 7s with the 35.6, 6, 35.4, 5, 35.1, 34.8, 34.6, 34.4, and then just make sure I didn't mess up the top one, 33.8. Okay, so my list looks like it's perfect. We're going to get out of this menu, so just hit second, quit. This next step isn't mandatory because they did give you a scatter plot already. But if you want to see if you're on the right track and your data is pretty accurate with what they gave you, what I want you to do is just go into y equals and hit zoom go into y equals, arrow up so that it's highlighted on plot 1, and press enter. Now hit zoom, and we're going to go down to option number 9, which is zoom stat. And they look pretty similar. Alright, so I've checked that out. I'm good. Now I'm going to generate a line of best fit, and that's going to be the most accurate line that is going to go through all of those points. If not all, going to come very, very close to those points. The reason why we're going to do that is we're going to create a line so that a line goes on forever and ever, so we can extend the line to see what might happen in the future. So go back to your stat button, and this time we're going to go into the calculate menu. So I'm going to arrow to the right, and now in this menu I'm going to choose option 4, linear regression. And you'll notice that it's going to put it in the form of ax plus b, which is similar to mx plus b. So the a that we get will represent our slope of the line, and the b that we get will represent the y-intercept. So press enter. If you have an older version calculator, you won't get this screen. But if you have a newer version, we're just going to press enter, 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 enter. And now we've got our equation. So I'm going to write my equation down in the form that they gave me. Y equals, and my A was 0.2547. I'm going to round that to just 0.25. X plus 33.8. I'm just going to round that to 33.83. Okay, so now I'm going to try to answer the question, which the question says down here below, if the trend continued, what is the closest number of people in millions who were 65 years or older in 2006? So I've got to do some thinking. What X value would represent year 2006? Well, since 0 represents 1995, I need to see how many years are in between 2006 and 1995. And that's 11 years. So what I'm going to choose to do is evaluate my expression when x equals 11. Okay, so in my calculator I'm going to figure out what y equals when x is 11. Try to figure that out, and then let's compare answers. All right, I got 36.58, and let's look at my answered choices. The closest answer would be the 36.6, so answer choice C.